What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. Mark Carney went to Washington, D.C. yesterday to try and negotiate with Donald Trump. Remember how he said during the election he was going to negotiate with Trump? He was going to put a stop to tariffs. He was going to put elbows up for Canada and make sure that there will always be a Canada. There will never be a 51st state. Well, people in Ontario are now about to see buyer's remorse. They're about to see what happens when you put your trust in a globalist banker like Mark Carney, essentially doing nothing. He did nothing. What's funny about the whole situation is that Donald Trump did what he does best as Mark Carney sat in the Oval Office. He slapped him around and told him that nothing's going to come of it, that things are going to inevitably stay the same. So my question moving forward is, what does this mean for Mark Carney? And what does it mean for those who thought he was going to fix all of their problems? He was going to handle Donald Trump. Let's take a look at what happened yesterday, because Donald Trump essentially slapped Mark Carney around like a redheaded stepchild, putting him in his place. You can see here from 6 Buzz TV, President Donald Trump says that nothing Prime Minister Mark Carney said today could change his mind about lifting tariffs on Canada. Nope, it's just the way it is. This is how a businessman behaves. You've got a banker and you've got a businessman. Somebody who understands business, somebody who understands negotiations, and another guy who just looks at figures all day and lies, cheats, and steals. I'll let you decide which one's which in this situation. Let's break down what was said in this questionnaire, and then we're going to get to the reality of the situation. Let's go.
Mr. President, is there anything the Prime Minister can say to you today to change your mind on tariffing Canada?
Tariffing cars?
Tariffing Canada. Is there anything he could say to you in the course of your meetings with him today that would get you to lift tariffs on Canada?
No.
Why not?
Just the way it is.
Now you see, I'm sorry, I'm enjoying this. You see where Mark Carney just immediately, well, hold on there. Hold on. Don't make me look bad, Mr. President. Please don't try to make it look like you're undermining what I'm here for. Wouldn't want any of that, would we? Let's let's continue.
If Canadians don't want it, would you respect that?
Sure, I would. But this is not necessarily a one-day deal. This is over a period of time they have to make that decision. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, if I may. Respectfully, Canadians' view on this is not going to change.
Now, before he goes into how we're never going to be the 51st state, remember, he told that to Mike Myers, who's also in a bit of trouble, and I'm not going to get into that on this video. Look at him scrambling to put his words together. Well, respectfully, he doesn't know what to say. He's going to get thrown out of there. He thinks like Zelensky. Let's take a look.
On the 51st state. Secondly, we are the largest client of the United States in the totality of all the goods. So we are the largest client of the United States. We have a tremendous auto sector between the two of us, and the changes that made have been helpful. 50% of a car that comes from Canada is American.
So look at Donald's face. Okay, I know I keep cutting in here, but this is for your entertainment too, folks. Look at Donald's face. Look at Donald. He's like, "Oh, would you just stop talking? Would you shut up already? I don't want any part of Mark Carney." He's sitting here staring at the floor. He's done. He doesn't want to listen to Carney. While Carney makes his excuses, this is what his voters are getting. This is what those who gave him the power to negotiate are getting. Word salad. This looks like Trudeau all over again. All over again.
That's not like anywhere else in the world. And to your question about is there one thing? No, this is a bigger discussion. There are much bigger forces involved, and this will take some time and some discussions, and that's why we're here, to have those discussions, and that is represented by who's sitting around the table.
See, the conflict is, and this is very friendly. We're not. This is not going to be like we had another little blow up with somebody else. That was a much different. This is a very friendly conversation, but.
So before Trump gets into it, what he's done there is he's allowed Mark Carney to speak. He's allowed Mark Carney to feel like he's being heard at the table. But now Trump is going to come back to reality. This, again, is very common in business with negotiators. Again, I've worked in the business sector. I went to school for marketing. I went through business school. I did my thesis on the art of the deal. I'm telling you right now, this is all part of the rhetoric that goes on between businessmen. They allow you to feel strong so that you don't get insulted when they come back and hammer you. They want you to feel heard. Donald puts it forward here. Again, I'm not claiming I'm an expert, but you can see it. Donald reminds him he's not going to cave to Carney.
We want to make our own cars. We don't really want cars from Canada. And we put tariffs on cars from Canada, and at a certain point, it won't make economic sense for Canada to build those cars. And we don't want steel from Canada because we're making our own steel, and we're having massive steel plants being built right now as we speak.
There's the jump from Carney again. Did you see his arm shake as he kind of, well, hold on there. Hold on, Trump. Don't make me look stupid. Please don't make it look like I thought you just allowed me to talk. I thought you just listened to me about how important it is that we work together. Trump's shutting it down. He shut him down. He doesn't want our stuff. Unbelievable.
We really don't want Canadian steel, and we don't want Canadian aluminum and various other things because we want to be able to do it ourselves. And we, because of, past thinking of people, we have a tremendous deficit with Canada. In other words, they have a surplus with us. And there's no reason for us to be subsidizing Canada. Canada's a place that will have.
See that look on Carney's face? See that right there when he just made his mouth movements and lowered his head? This is the equivalency of when journalists were asking him throughout the campaign about his assets, about everything else, except this time he can't shut it down. He can't tell Donald Trump to look inside himself. He can't walk away. This is him realizing he's going home getting his ass kicked. Empty-handed. No persona grata. This is... It's over for Mark. Here we go.
Have to be able to take care of itself economically. I assume they can. I will tell you that Trudeau, when I spoke to him, I used to call him Governor Trudeau. I think that probably didn't help his election. But when I spoke to him, I said, so why are we taking your cars? Why are we taking your... We want to make them ourselves. I mean, I said, and if the price of your cars went up, or if we put a tariff on your cars of 25%, what would that mean to you? He said that would mean the end of Canada. He actually said that to me. And I said, that's a strange answer, but I understand his answer. But no, I mean, it's hard to justify subsidizing Canada to the tune of maybe $200 billion a year. We protect Canada militarily, and we always will. We're going to, that's not a money thing. But we always will. But, it's not fair. But why are we subsidizing Canada $200 billion a year, or whatever the number might be? It's a very substantial number. And it's hard for the American taxpayer to say, gee whiz, we love doing that. Thank you very much. We're going to have a very substantial...
So again, what Donald did there is the same thing again in business. He allowed Carney to speak. He allowed him to feel like he had some presence in the room, and then he shut it down. And then he cut it off at the end saying, well, we're done. Thanks for your questions. He's not giving him a rebuttal. He's showing him dominance here. He's showing him that they're not going to put up with it. And what's funny about it, if I go to my other browser here so you can see the full screen. Oh, wait, you can't see the full screen. Well, I'll just show you. Oh, you can kind of see it over to the right here. Trending following this video on X, separation. Below is Canadians, and below that, Mike Myers. Now, what does that have to do with everything? Well, I don't know if you guys know this, but Mike Myers recently was outed. After sitting on a video with Mark Carney asking, will there always be a Canada? Oh, let's put our elbows up. He was just outed on the Diddy parties. But Mike Myers is in a lot of trouble when it comes to the Diddy parties. I'm not going to get too heavily into that because YouTube doesn't like me talking about that, but it's coincidental that Mark Carney was able to get Mike Myers secured for an interview, yet Carney hasn't, I'm not sure if he's been to any parties, but he certainly has attended some parties on islands, from what I understand. Again, when you see photos of his wife alongside their friends, I guess you could say, their known associates, Very interesting that they all seem to travel within the same circles. But it's funny that separation and Canada are also trending at the same time as those when this video gets shoved all over X, showing just how much of a spanking Donald Trump just gave Mark Carney. He put him in his place. And anybody who thought they were voting for Mark Carney to handle Donald Trump, they're not going to get it. I think, if anything, this is just going to show Albertans further as to why they're going to back separation, why they know that no deals are coming to Canada. Mark Carney has no skills as a prime minister. He's showing that very firmly. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of buyer's remorse coming from those who put him in power, who are soon going to realize that nobody is coming to save them, that things are about to get unequivocally worse, especially for those liberal boomers. And I say liberal, keep in mind. Smart boomers on the conservative side. There's liberal boomers like the Brantford boomer who voted in favor of securing their stock options to make sure that they're successful, that their investments stay strong. What do you think is going to happen to those investments when Donald Trump doesn't back off? What do you think those people are going to think about voting Mark Carney and when all of that comes to a head? Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think Mark Carney just got the tar knocked out of him? Let me know what you think down below, folks, if it's your first time here. As Donald would say, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you follow the channel. I know people hate it when I do the Trump. I love Donald Trump. I love doing the voice. He's fantastic, believe me. Hit the subscribe button. Turn on your bell for all notifications so you don't miss a beat whenever new videos drop. Join me here on the channel each and every Friday night for Friday Night Fringe, our live streaming show where we do a lot of voices. We have a lot of fun here on the channel. We goof off. We talk about politics for the week. I'm joined by the beautiful Mrs. Fringe as we discuss a plethora of subjects, all while taking your Q&A and comments outside of making these videos. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say each and every week, but I most importantly look forward to hearing what you have to say this Friday night starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central here on the channel. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.